everybody, it's Miss T from the Children's Library of the Plainfield Public Library. Thank you for coming in for another story time. Today, we're going to read How to Build a Hug. Temple Grandin and Her Amazing Squeeze Machine, written by Amy Guglielmo and Jacqueline Tourville, illustrated by Giselle Potter. Temple loved folding paper kites, making obstacle courses for her dog, and building lean-tos with real hinged doors. Temple did not like scratchy socks, whistling tea kettles, bright lights, or smelly perfumes. Phew. And Temple really didn't like hugs. When other kids looked sad, lonely, or scared, Temple could see that hugs cheered them up. If people were grateful or really happy, they passed out hugs like cookies. And holding out your arms out wide usually meant you wanted a great big hug. Temple wanted to be held too. But to her, hugs felt like being stuffed inside the scratchiest sock in the world. If anyone tried to give her a hug, she kicked and screamed and pulled away. At school, Temple wasn't like the other kids. No one understood that when the classroom fan whirled, Temple imagined a dentist drill, that to her the voices in the loud, stinky cafeteria roared like a jet engine, and that the school bell clanged like a woodpecker knocking on her head. To escape the noisy images, Temple fled to the playground swings, where she spun and hummed, and the sounds vanished in the breeze. The wound-up swing always felt snug and secure. Is this what hugs are supposed to feel like? Temple wanted a real hug, but even when she was safe at home, when her mom leaned down to give her a hug, all she saw was a tidal wave of dentist drills, sandpaper, and awful cologne coming at her all at once. Sometimes, when Temple was having a really bad day, she crawled under the sofa cushions and asked her little sister to hop on top. The smush of the heavy pillows felt cozy. Maybe that's how hugs worked. So year after year, Temple filed away images of every hug she came across. The firefighter coming to the rescue with a ladder and a hug when her neighbor's cat got stuck in a tree. The teary-eyed couple at the train station embracing when the whistle blew. Her little sister wrapping her arms around their mom just because. And once when Temple was in her front yard building a maze for her pet mouse, she heard a baby wailing like a fire engine and looked up to see a mom swaddling her fussy child in a blanket. As the mom swayed back and forth, the cranky baby instantly hushed. When she got older, Temple attended a special boarding school that gave kids like her a chance to grow. Temple made friends, excelled in art and science, won ribbons for excellent horseback riding, and She kept building things like model rockets, a lift for the school ski slope, and a tiny swinging door for the resident cat to go where it pleased. Around here, Temple saw families hug goodbye in September and hug hello in June. Temple missed her mom too, but she just couldn't express her feelings the same way. Would she ever get a hug? At the end of the school year, Temple was invited to spend summer at her aunt's ranch in Arizona. Temple kept busy drawing and painting, reading books about inventors, and fixing things around the farm. She even made a machine that opened and closed the ranch's heavy front gate. In the yard, Temple trotted the horses and fed the baby goats, letting them push up against her hands as they nuzzled for bottles of milk. She watched newborn calves take their first wobbly steps and noticed how they flinched when tickled by flies, just like she did when people tried to touch her. On the day of the calf's first checkup, Temple heard frantic mooing and raced outside to see what the matter was. A ranch hand was leading a skittish young cow into a mysterious device. He explained that the squeeze chute helped cows stay calm during vet exams. Temple watched as the man pressed the lever, releasing sighs that cradled the animal in a snug embrace. Almost immediately, the nervous calf stopped its lowering and sat perfectly still. And suddenly, Temple had an idea. She ran to the barn and quickly sketched a plan. She took measurements and saw up planks. She found a spool of wire, a rusty pulley, a length of string, and some cushions from an old chair. Temple called for her aunt to come see. Then she crept inside her creation and pulled on the string to let the sides slip around her. Temple smiled. The loud noises disappeared. The air smells fresh, and the bright sunshine felt wonderful. "It's a snuggle apparatus," said her aunt. "It's a squeeze-a-majiggy," said her uncle. "It's a squish box," said the ranch hand. "It's a hug machine," thought Temple. Temple brought her invention back home at the end of the summer. Every time she felt nervous or scared, she slid inside for a cuddle. But after a while, she began to use the machine less and less, and then almost not at all. Then one day her machine broke, and she knew that only one thing could cheer her up. You guessed it, a hug. And now she says, "I'm into hugging people now." And that's based on the life of Dr. Temple Grandin. She's a professor of animal science at Colorado State University, and she's a leading advocate for the humane treatment of animal livestock. Temple is also known the world over for her courage in speaking out about her personal experience with autism. She was born in 1947. So she was born at a time where there was little known about autism. And so the behaviors that she shown to people Her family encouraged her talents instead of dwelling on thinking that her behaviors were harmful or were some kind of strange thing. They emphasized the strength of her talents. So they encouraged her to invent things. They encouraged her to go to school and pursue her education, and which she did to great effect. So now she's a leading advocate in her field and also for autism. And she also says, another great saying, she says that she likes the way she thinks. And so we all are born with different talents. We are all born with different sensory capacities. And we should appreciate the way and love the way that we as individuals think. And I'll leave you with a quote from Dr. Temple Grandin. She says, quote, "I use my mind to solve problems and invent things. And I hope you're inspired to do the same. Use your mind. If you see a problem, think about it. What can you do? Is there something that you can invent to make the problem a little easier to handle? Think about it. And while you're thinking about that, once we get to the end or the last page of a story, we say, the end." And so that was How to Build a Hug, Temple Grandin and Her Amazing Squeeze Machine, written by Amy Guillermo and Jacqueline Tourville, illustrated by Giselle Potter. Thank you so much for coming and listening to Storytime. And this is March, so it's Women's History Month. So the amazing Dr. Temple Grandin is such an amazing woman. I thought I'm glad you came and heard about her story, and I hope you were inspired to be just as amazing, just as inventive, and celebrate the difference in the way you think. Be original, be unique, and happy Women's Month. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.